Commander John Martinez walked through the gleaming hallways of the Galactic Council's central archives. His footsteps echoed against the polished floor as he nodded politely to the various alien species he passed. As Earth's junior diplomatic officer, he had finally earned enough trust to access the archives alone. This was just supposed to be a routine information exchange. Collect the approved technology reports and leave. The blue-skinned archivist, Trill, guided him to a private terminal. "You have 2 hours, Earth representative," she said. Her 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of mild disapproval that Martinez had learned to recognize during his 3 years on the station. "Thank you," Martinez replied with a practiced smile. "That will be plenty of time." As soon as Trill left, Martinez began downloading the approved files. Earth needed these technical specifications to build their next generation of ships that would meet Council standards. The Council always emphasized how these standards were for everyone's safety and benefit. While waiting for the download, Martinez noticed a blinking message on the terminal. It seemed to be a system error. A security partition had temporarily failed. Without thinking much about it, he tapped the notification. Suddenly, a flood of files appeared on his screen. Files that were clearly not meant for Earth's representatives. Files with security classifications far above his clearance level. Martinez almost closed the breach immediately. This could cost him his position, maybe even trigger diplomatic consequences for Earth. But a folder labeled Species Development Control. Earth caught his eye. His heart beating faster, Martinez glanced at the door. He had at least an hour before anyone would check on him. He opened the folder. The first document made his blood run cold. It was a council assessment of human technological development from over 200 years ago, long before official first contact. The council had been watching Earth for centuries. Martinez downloaded the files to his secure tablet as quickly as possible, his hands shaking slightly. The more he skimmed, the worse it got. There were detailed analyses of human biology, showing that humans adapted to new environments faster than almost any known species. Reports on human conflict resolution that labeled the species as dangerously unpredictable. And most disturbing, a long-term containment strategy. The words blurred as he read. Humanity must be guided into the galactic community with careful restrictions on their development. Their natural technological progression suggests they would achieve Type IO civilization status within 300 years, a pace that threatens established order. Recommend implementation of Protocol 7 Alpha, technological suppression through selective sharing. Martinez had always wondered why Earth seemed to lag behind even newer Council species in gaining approval for technology upgrades. Now he knew. It wasn't that humans were slow learners or incompatible with advanced systems. They were being deliberately held back. The terminal beeped. His official download was complete. Martinez quickly closed the unauthorized files, making sure to erase any trace of his access. He slipped his tablet into his jacket pocket, feeling its weight like a stone. As he left the archives, Martinez maintained his diplomatic smile, nodding to the guards. Inside, his mind raced. Everything Earth had been told about their place in the galaxy was a lie. They weren't primitive newcomers who needed gentle guidance. They were seen as a threat to be controlled. Back in his private quarters, Martinez secured the room against surveillance and examined the stolen files more carefully. There was more, much more. Engineering assessments showing that several failed Earth innovations were actually superior to Council technology. Medical research indicating humans had unusual genetic potential, and a recent Council report expressing alarm at how quickly Earth was still advancing despite the restrictions. Martinez sat back, running a hand through his short black hair. He had to tell someone. But who could he trust? False accusations against the Council would end his career and damage Earth's standing. But if these documents were real, everything would change. The realization settled in his stomach like a lead weight. The peaceful, helpful Galactic Council that Earth had been so grateful to join was nothing but a facade. Behind it lay centuries of manipulation and fear. Martinez made his decision. He would find proof and expose the truth. no matter the cost. Martinez stared at his communication device for a long time before making the call. There was only one person he trusted completely, Lisa Blackwell, Earth's senior diplomat, who had mentored him since his arrival at the Council station. Her face appeared on the screen, her expression changing from friendly to concerned when she saw his face. "John, what's wrong?" she asked. "We need to talk in person," Martinez said quietly. "Privately. It's important." They met an hour later in Lisa's quarters, which she swept for listening devices daily. Martinez handed her the tablet without a word. She read in silence, her face growing paler with each swipe of her finger. "Is this real?" she finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I believe it is," Martinez said. "The security codes match authentic Council protocols, and it explains so much: why our fusion engine designs keep getting rejected, why our ships need twice the safety inspections of other species." Lisa paced the room, her mind racing. At 52, she had spent 15 years representing Earth to the Council. She had defended the Council's decisions to her own government countless times, believing their restrictions were fair and necessary. "We need to verify this," she said finally. "And we need someone with military clearance." She tapped her communication device. "Admiral Patel needs to see this." Admiral Susan Patel arrived in civilian clothes, her normally perfect posture slightly stooped to avoid attention. When she finished reading the files, her dark eyes flashed with anger. 200 years, she said. "They've been watching us for 200 years, planning how to keep us weak." She looked at Martinez. "How did you get this?" Martinez explained the security breach, knowing he was admitting to a serious violation of protocol. "You did the right thing," Patel said firmly. "But we need more evidence before we take this to Earth government. This could cause panic, or worse, a premature confrontation with the Council." They agreed to form a small, secret task force. Patel would bring in 2 trusted officers to analyze the military implications. Lisa would discreetly investigate diplomatic records for inconsistencies that matched the claims in the files. As they finalized their plans, Martinez's communication device chimed with an official message. His heart sank when he read it. "I've been summoned to meet with Councillor Zixthar tomorrow," he said. No explanation given. "Zixthar has always been fair to humans," Lisa said thoughtfully. "But this timing is concerning." The next day, Martinez entered the private meeting chamber with dread in his stomach. Councillor Zixthar was waiting, his tall, thin form silhouetted against the viewport that looked out over the curve of the massive Council station. The Meldarian turned, his silver skin reflecting the starlight. "Commander Martinez," he said softly, "I believe you found something yesterday that wasn't meant for your eyes." Martinez felt cold fear wash over him, but kept his face neutral. "I'm not sure what you mean, Counselor." Zixthar moved closer. "The archives have automatic logging systems. Very few know about them." He paused. "I know what files you accessed." Martinez stood perfectly still, his mind racing through options. Denial would be useless. "I am not here to report you," Zixthar continued, surprising Martinez. "I am here because I have watched Earth's treatment by the Council for 30 years. What was done, what is still being done, is wrong." Martinez studied the alien's face, looking for deception. "Why would you help humans?" "Because the Council was formed to unite species, not suppress them," Zixthar said. "And because Earth is not the first. My own people were similarly contained for centuries. By the time restrictions were lifted, we had lost our innovative drive. We became dependent. I will not watch it happen again." He handed Martinez a small data crystal. "Security codes. Access points. Names of those who might help. Use them carefully." His 4-fingered hand gripped Martinez's arm. "The Council President and his faction are watching Earth more closely than ever. They sense your people's frustration with restrictions. They are growing desperate to maintain control." Martinez took the crystal, a mixture of hope and fear rising in his chest. "Why now?" "Because Earth is different," Zixthar said simply. You learn too quickly. Adapt too well. The Council has never seen a species advance like yours despite active suppression. They are afraid, and afraid people make mistakes. As Martinez left, his mind was racing with possibilities. They had an ally. They had more evidence. Now they needed a plan before the Council realized their lies about Earth were beginning to fall apart. Lisa Blackwell moved through the lower levels of the Council archives with practiced ease. The access codes from Zixfar had worked perfectly. Her heart beat quickly as she downloaded file after file, confirming their worst fears. The deception went deeper than they had imagined. Meanwhile, across the station, Dr. Alan Rodriguez was making discoveries of his own. As Earth's leading xenobiologist, he had been invited to observe Council medical procedures as a learning opportunity. But now, with Martinez's information guiding him, he saw things differently. Rodriguez carefully collected a sample from a supposedly standard medical kit that all Earth colonists were required to use. Back in his private lab, he ran tests that the Council would never approve. His screen beeped with results. Rodriguez stared in disbelief. The immune system supplements in every kit contained compounds that subtly altered human biology. They didn't cause harm directly, but they limited the body's ability to adapt to new environments. Humans on colony worlds would always remain dependent on Council medical supplies. They're not just holding back our technology, he whispered to himself. They're changing our bodies. Rodriguez encrypted his findings and sent them to Martinez's secure channel, then destroyed all evidence of his tests. Admiral Patel received the data in her private quarters. Her face hardened as she read Rodriguez's report alongside Blackwell's newest findings. Blackwell had discovered records of Earth technology submissions that had been rejected for safety concerns. The same designs had later appeared in Council technology under different names. The task force met that night in a maintenance room that Zixfar had assured them was free of monitoring. Martinez, Blackwell, Patel, and Rodriguez shared their findings while Captain Frank Morgan, Patel's most trusted officer, stood guard. They've stolen our innovations for decades, Blackwell said. Those hull designs that were too unstable for human ships. The Phyraxians are using them now. And the colony situation is worse, Rodriguez added. The supplements are designed to make us less adaptable. They're ensuring humans can never thrive without Council support. Morgan spoke up. We need to prepare for their reaction when they discover we know. I've quietly reassigned some of our most loyal officers to key positions on Earth defense stations. Patel nodded approval. Good, but we need more than just military readiness. We need to expose them to the galaxy. Martinez studied the star map on his tablet, thinking of Zixfar's words. The counselor said Earth wasn't the first species they suppressed. Maybe we can find allies. The Archelians, Blackwell suggested. They joined the Council only 50 years before Earth. They faced similar restrictions. And the Vordax, Rodriguez added. Their biology is remarkably adaptive, like ours. The Council keeps their colonies under even stricter control than Earth's. Martinez nodded. I'll speak with their representatives carefully. But first, we need to set a trap. We need to force the Council to reveal themselves. They worked through the night, developing a plan. They would allow Council inspectors to discover certain Earth technologies during their next scheduled visit to the Mars research base. Technologies that shouldn't exist under Council restrictions, but that were completely safe by any reasonable standard. When they overreact, Martinez explained, we'll record everything. Their panic will be evidence of the suppression. As they finished, Martinez's tablet beeped with an urgent message from Zixfar. Council President has called emergency session regarding Earth. New restrictions coming. Your time grows short. The group exchanged worried looks. The Council was moving faster than expected. They must suspect something, Patel said grimly. Martinez stared at the message, then looked up with determination. Then we move faster too. Captain Morgan, prepare our ships. Lisa, contact the Archelians tonight. Dr. Rodriguez, Get your evidence ready for broadcast." As they left the room one by one, Martinez felt the weight of their mission. They weren't just fighting for fair treatment anymore. They were fighting for humanity's future among the stars. The Council's lies about Earth were beginning to unravel, and soon the whole galaxy would know the truth. The Mars Research Facility gleamed under the red planet's sky, a monument to human persistence. Inside, Admiral Patel walked confidently beside 4 Council inspectors. Their leader, Inspector Kraz, moved with stiff precision, his green scales catching the light as his 6 eyes darted around suspiciously. "This way to the propulsion lab," Patel said pleasantly. "We're quite proud of our advances in efficiency." The inspectors followed, recording everything with their devices. This inspection was routine, or so they thought. Patel had made sure every scientist and guard knew their role. The trap was set. In the observation room above, Martinez watched the screens with Lisa Blackwell and Dr. Rodriguez. Each wore the calm expression of a diplomat, but their hearts pounded with anticipation. Patel led the inspectors into Lab 7, where engineers worked on what appeared to be a standard dry system. But hidden in plain sight were 3 elements the Council had repeatedly denied Earth permission to develop: a gravity manipulation array, advanced radiation shielding, and most importantly, a faster-than-light communication device that didn't rely on Council relay stations. It took only moments for Inspector Kraz to notice. His posture stiffened dramatically. "What is this?" he demanded, pointing at the gravity array. "This technology is not approved for Earth development." Patel feigned confusion. "That? It's just an experimental weight distribution system for cargo holds. Is there a problem?" The inspector moved to the FTL communicator. "And this is clearly prohibited technology." "Really?" Patel looked surprised. "Our scientists developed it last year. It passed all our safety protocols." She smiled innocently. "We were going to submit it for Council approval next month." The other inspectors began scanning frantically, their devices beeping as they discovered more unapproved technology. Kraz's scales darkened with stress, a reaction Martinez had hoped for and made sure was being recorded from multiple angles. "This inspection is terminated," Kraz announced. "All work must cease immediately. These technologies violate at least 7 Council directives on appropriate development paths for Earth." "But they're perfectly safe," Patel argued, her voice reasonable but firm. "We've tested them extensively." "Safety is not the only concern," Kraz snapped, then stopped abruptly, realizing his mistake. In the observation room, Martinez and Blackwell exchanged triumphant glances. The inspector had just admitted that safety wasn't the real issue, exactly what they needed. "If safety isn't the concern," Patel pressed, "then what is?" Kraz backed away. "This facility is now under Council review. No one leaves until a full investigation is complete." Within hours, an emergency Council session was convened. From a hidden location, Martinez and his team watched the proceedings through Zixthar's secure channel. Council President Vex Morian stood at the center of the Grand Chamber, his large form trembling with barely controlled anger. "Earth has deliberately violated development protocols," he thundered. "They've created technologies that threaten the stability of established trade and communication networks." Several Council members shifted uncomfortably, but most nodded in agreement. "I propose immediate sanctions," Vex Morian continued. "All Earth ships grounded, all research facilities placed under direct Council control, and enhanced containment protocols activated." "Containment protocols?" Councilor Zixthar asked innocently. "I'm not familiar with any official containment protocols for Earth." Vexamorian froze momentarily. "The standard protocols for developing species who exceed their approved technology path," he recovered quickly. "Could you cite the specific regulation?" Zixthar pressed. The Council chamber grew tense as Vexmorian fumbled. "This is not the time for procedural details. The humans have proven exactly why we've maintained careful guidance of their development. Their natural aggression combined with unrestricted technology, would be disastrous for galactic stability. The words hung in the air. Several council members looked shocked at the admission. In their hidden room, Martinez's team recorded everything. The council president had just confirmed their accusations for the entire galaxy to hear. "Send it to every Earth ambassador and military commander," Martinez ordered, "and to our new friends among the Archelians and Vordax." As the messages went out, Martinez watched the council chamber erupt into argument. The first cracks in the council's united front were appearing. "It's working," Blackwell said quietly. "This is just the beginning," Martinez replied. "Vex Morion is desperate now, and desperate leaders make mistakes." Martinez stepped onto the surface of Archelia, breathing the sweet air through his adaptation mask. The blue-green planet was beautiful, with 2 moons visible even in daylight. This was his 3rd secret diplomatic mission in 2 weeks. Lissa Blackwell had gone to meet with the Vordax while he handled the Archelians. Ambassador Krell waited in a small building away from the main diplomatic center. He was taller than most Archelians, with mottled purple skin and large, thoughtful eyes. When Martinez showed him the evidence of council manipulation, the ambassador's skin darkened with anger. "We suspected," Krell said quietly. "For decades, our fastest ships were deemed unstable. Our colonization requests were denied for environmental concerns. Yet older species face no such restrictions. The Council fears species that adapt quickly," Martinez explained. "Earth and Archelia both share that trait. They've been holding us back deliberately." Krell touched a panel on the wall, revealing hidden screens. "We've been gathering our own evidence," he said. "Perhaps combined with yours, we can finally prove the truth." Back on the council station, Dr. Rodriguez met secretly with scientists from both the Archelians and Vordax. The Vordax scientist, Dr. Nell, revealed that her people had also discovered the biological tampering in council medical supplies. "They altered our reproductive rates," she said bitterly, "claimed it was to help us adjust to space travel. In truth, they feared how quickly we could populate new worlds." Together, the scientists compiled their research, creating undeniable proof of the Council's biological manipulation across multiple species. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Frank Morgan prepared for possible Council military action. He moved ships into defensive positions around Earth colonies, disguising the maneuvers as routine exercises. When questioned by Council observers, he simply smiled and mentioned standard defensive readiness training. The task force regrouped on a secure Earth base beneath the Pacific Ocean. Admiral Patel reviewed their progress with Martinez, Blackwell, and Rodriguez. "The Vordax are fully with us," Blackwell reported. "They've suffered even more than Earth under Council restrictions. They're ready to stand against the Council publicly." "The Archelians, too," Martinez added. "And Ambassador Krell has quietly reached out to 3 other younger species who suspect similar treatment." Rodriguez displayed his combined research findings. "We now have proof of biological tampering across 5 species and evidence of technology suppression for all of us. The pattern is undeniable." Admiral Patel nodded with satisfaction. "And Captain Morgan reports our defenses are ready if the Council tries military action." "They're already trying," Martinez said grimly, showing a message from Zixfar. "The Council has demanded that Earth surrender control of all orbital facilities for security inspection. It's a thinly veiled attempt to establish direct control over our space infrastructure." "What's our next move?" Blackwell asked. Martinez displayed a galactic map, highlighting several Council member worlds. "While we've been gathering evidence and allies, I've been studying the Council itself. It's not as united as they want us to believe." He pointed to several systems. "The Tellurians and Nexus representatives have historically opposed expansion restrictions. They might be sympathetic if approached carefully." "That's risky," Patel cautioned, "if they report back to Vex Morion." "We don't approach them directly," Martinez explained. "We leak specific parts of our evidence to their intelligence services. Let them discover the truth themselves." Blackwell nodded slowly. divide the council from within. Smart. A secure communication chimed, and Zix-Har's face appeared on screen. He looked worried. Vex Morion is mobilizing Council security forces near Earth space, he said urgently. He's calling it a precautionary measure, but these are combat ships, not peacekeepers. How much time do we have? Patil asked. 3 days, perhaps 4 before they're in position, Zix-Thar replied. I've tried to slow the authorization process, but Vex Morion is bypassing normal protocols. He's growing increasingly erratic, claiming Earth threatens the entire galactic order. Martinez looked at his colleagues. Then we have 3 days to split the council. Admiral, is our communications plan ready? Patel nodded. The network is in place. We can broadcast to the entire galaxy whenever you give the word. Good, Martinez said, because I think it's time the galaxy learned the truth about the Council's lies. The Council chamber erupted in shouting as the Tellurian representative, Councillor Mev, stood firmly against President Vex Morion. His stone-like features showed no emotion, but his voice carried through the noise. I demand to know why Council warships are moving toward Earth space without full Council approval, Mev stated. This violates our most basic protocols. Vex Morion's tendrils writhed with irritation. It is a security matter requiring immediate action. Earth has demonstrated dangerous technological development beyond their approved level. So you've said, the Nexus representative added, her glowing form pulsing with energy. Yet we've seen no evidence of actual danger to the Council or its members. Martinez and Lisa Blackwell watched the Council broadcast from their secure room. Their carefully leaked evidence had reached the right people. The Council was fracturing exactly as they had hoped. How dare you question my authority? Vex Morion thundered. I have led this Council for 140 years. And perhaps that is long enough. Councillor Meth replied calmly. The chamber fell silent. No one had openly challenged Vex Morion's leadership in decades. Zix-Thar seized the moment. I move that we pause all military movements until a full inquiry into these Earth accusations can be completed. Vex Morion slammed his ceremonial staff down. There will be no delay. Earth and its dangerous potential must be contained immediately. His voice rose to a shout. We have worked too hard for too long to maintain galactic stability. We will not allow a primitive, aggressive species to upset the balance we have carefully maintained. On a dozen worlds, people watched in shock as the Council President revealed his true feelings about humanity. On Earth, government leaders who had trusted the Council felt the sting of betrayal. In their hidden room, Martinez turned to his team. Zix-Thar has just signaled us. This is our chance. The President is panicking. The communication network is ready, Admiral Patel confirmed. We can broadcast to every major world in Council space. And our ships? Martinez asked. In defensive positions only, Patel assured him. We won't fire first. Martinez nodded to Blackwell. It's time for your part. Blackwell took a deep breath. As Earth's senior diplomat, she would be the face of this revelation. They had agreed her calm, measured approach would be more persuasive than Martinez's passion or Patel's military bearing. On the Council station, Zix-Thar received an urgent message from his aide. Counselor, Earth is broadcasting on all frequencies. They've bypassed the Council communications network. The Council session was interrupted as screens around the chamber lit up with Lisa Blackwell's face. Similar broadcasts appeared on planets throughout Council space. People of the galaxy, Blackwell began, her voice steady. For too long, the Council has maintained power through deception and manipulation. Today, we reveal the truth. In the Council chamber, Vex Morion's face darkened with rage. Shut down this broadcast immediately. But it was too late. Blackwell continued, presenting evidence of the Council's systematic suppression of Earth and other emerging species. Documents appeared on screen. Council orders to reject Earth technologies that met all safety standards, biological manipulation disguised as medical treatment, and secret classifications labeling humans as dangerous long before first contact. The most damning evidence came from the Council's own records. Vex Morion himself, in a private meeting, declaring, "Humanity must never be allowed to reach its full potential. Their adaptability is a threat to established order." As the broadcast continued, Zixthar approached Vex Morion, who was frantically ordering security forces to find and stop the transmission source. "It's over," Zixthar said quietly. "The truth is out." "This is treason," Vex Morion hissed. "No," came Counselor Mev's voice as he approached. "This is justice. I call for an immediate vote of no confidence in President Vex Morion." One by one, council members began to stand, including many who had supported Vex Morion for decades. His eyes darted around the chamber, seeing his support crumble. "You fools," he shouted. "Without control, without order, the galaxy will descend into chaos." But fewer and fewer were listening. The council was transforming before their eyes, and nothing would ever be the same. Lisa Blackwell stood before the galaxy, her image broadcast to billions of beings across thousands of worlds. Behind her, screens display the evidence, document after document revealing centuries of council deception. "This suppression was not for safety," she continued. "It was fear. Fear of what humanity might become." Her voice remained calm but carried unmistakable strength. And we were not alone. The Arkelians, the Vordax, and many others suffered the same treatment. The broadcast shifted to show Dr. Rodriguez and scientists from other species. They explained the biological tampering in simple terms that anyone could understand. Then Captain Morgan demonstrated Earth technologies that had been repeatedly rejected by the Council for safety concerns. Technologies that were clearly safer and more efficient than Council-approved versions. On planets across the galaxy, people watched in growing anger and disbelief. In the Council chamber, chaos reigned. Many representatives had left their seats, gathering in heated discussions. Security forces looked uncertain, no longer sure whose orders to follow. Vex Morion stood alone at the center, his authority crumbling. "This is manipulation," he shouted. "Earth is twisting facts to hide their dangerous nature." Councillor Zixthar stepped forward. "I have served on this council for 60 years, he said, his voice carrying through the chamber. "I have access to the most secure archives. Everything Earth has revealed is true." He turned to face the other members. "I helped them because our purpose was never to suppress, but to unite. We have betrayed our founding principles." On Earth, Martinez watched the broadcast from the command center. The plan was working better than he had hoped, but he knew Vex Morion was still dangerous. "Admiral," he said to Patel, "what's the status of the Council ships?" Patel checked the latest reports. Most have stopped advancing. Only Vex Morion's personal fleet continues toward Earth space, 5 battleships, heavily armed. "They must be receiving the broadcast," Martinez said. "Why would they still attack?" "Because Vex Morion is losing everything." Blackwell's voice came from the screen as she finished her broadcast. She had returned to the command center. "His power, his position, his legacy. He might prefer destruction to defeat." Martinez nodded grimly. "Captain Morgan, bring our defense fleet to full alert, but maintain defensive positions only." On the main screen, they could see the council chamber where an official vote was taking place. One by one, council members declared no confidence in Vex Morion's leadership. When the final vote was tallied, there was no doubt. Vex Morion had been removed from power. But the danger wasn't over. Alarms blared in the command center. "Vex Morion's fleet has entered Earth space," a junior officer reported. "They're charging weapons. All ships, defensive formation Alpha," Morgan ordered. "Prepare for impact." Everyone braced for the attack, but suddenly the tactical display showed new ships arriving. Ships that weren't Earth's. The Arkelian defense fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel, positioning themselves between Earth and the approaching council ships. They were joined moments later by Vordax vessels, their distinctive spiral shapes unmistakable. "We're receiving a transmission from the lead council ship," the communications officer announced. Vex Morian's face appeared on screen, twisted with rage. "You think this changes anything? I built the council. I guided it for over a century. I will not allow primitive species to destroy what I created." "This isn't destruction," Martins replied calmly. "It's evolution. The galaxy is changing, Vex Morian. The council will survive, but as a true partnership, not a system of control." "Never," Vex Morian snarled. His ships continued to advance. Just then, another fleet appeared. Council ships, but not Vex Morian's loyalists. At their head was a Tellurian dreadnought. "This is Acting Council President Mev," came a steady voice. "Former President Vex Morian, you are ordered to stand down immediately. Your actions are unauthorized and illegal under council law." Surrounded and outnumbered, Vex Morian's ships slowed, then stopped. The weapons powered down. In the Earth Command Center, the tension broke. People cheered and embraced. They had done it, revealed the truth, and survived. But Martinez remained focused on the screen. This was just the beginning. The real work of building a new relationship with the galaxy was about to start. 1 month after the confrontation in Earth space, Commander John Martinez stood in the Grand Hall of the newly reformed Galactic Council. The chamber looked different now. The imposing throne-like chair that Vex Morian had occupied was gone, replaced by a simple round table where representatives sat as equals. Martinez had spent weeks helping to draft a new framework for galactic cooperation. Today, that framework would be presented to all member species. Lisa Blackwell stood beside him, reviewing her notes one last time. As Earth's senior diplomat, she would present the proposal. Dr. Rodriguez and Admiral Patel waited nearby, along with representatives from the Arkelians, Vordax, and other formerly suppressed species. Acting President Mev called the session to order. His stone face showed no emotion, but his voice was warm. "Today we begin a new chapter in our shared history. The old council failed in its duty to treat all species with respect and fairness. We must do better." Lisa Blackwell stepped forward. All eyes turned to her as she spoke. For too long, the council operated on fear. Fear of change, fear of innovation, fear of what younger species might become. She looked around the chamber. That fear led to suppression, lies, and manipulation. It almost led to war. She gestured to Martinez, who activated the main display. A new organizational structure appeared, one without hierarchies based on age or technology level. "We propose the formation of the Galactic Alliance of Free Species," Blackwell continued. "An alliance where technological sharing is encouraged, not restricted. Where safety standards protect us all without limiting growth. Where biological tampering is forbidden, and each species' natural development is respected." Ambassador Krell of the Arkelians spoke next. "The old classification system that ranked species by development level must be abolished. It was never about safety. It was about control." Many council members nodded in agreement. The evidence revealed over the past month had been overwhelming. Few could defend the old system now. The Vordax representative, Dr. Nell, presented the scientific cooperation framework. "Together, we can solve problems that none of us could solve alone," she said, "without artificial restrictions holding us back." The discussion continued for hours. Some older species expressed concerns about rapid change. Others worried about losing their traditional influence. But the momentum for reform was too strong to stop. When the final vote came, the result was clear. The Galactic Council would become the Galactic Alliance, with new rules, new opportunities, and new hope for all member species. As the session ended, Councillor Zixthar approached Martinez. "You've accomplished something remarkable," he said. "But Vex Morian still has supporters. They won't give up easily." "We'll be ready," Martinez assured him. "Not with weapons, but with results. When everyone sees what we can achieve together without restrictions, few will want to return to the old ways." 3 days later, Martinez stood with Admiral Patel at Earth's main space dock. Before them was a ship unlike any the galaxy had seen before, the culmination of decades of secret human innovation. "The Pathfinder," Patel said proudly, "our first true interstellar vessel built with unrestrained human ingenuity." The ship gleamed in the sunlight, its hull incorporating technologies the Council had repeatedly rejected. Its engines used principles that Vex Morian had classified as too advanced for humans to safely control. Its navigation systems operated independently of Council networks. "How long has this been in development?" Martins asked, amazed. 20 years, Patel replied. "In a hidden facility beneath Europa. Even most of Earth government didn't know." Captain Frank Morgan approached them, wearing the new uniform of the Earth Exploration Fleet. "She's ready, Admiral. All systems check out perfectly." Patel nodded. "Then make history, Captain." As Morgan boarded the ship with his crew, Martinez thought about how far they had come. From discovering the Council's lies to creating a new galactic order in just a few short months. The Pathfinder's engines hummed to life, a sound unlike any Council ship. As it rose gracefully from the dock and accelerated toward the stars, Martinez felt a surge of pride. Humanity had finally taken its rightful place in the galaxy, not through violence or dominance, but by exposing lies and offering a better vision for all species. The path ahead wouldn't be easy, but it would be honest. And together, they would go further than anyone, even humans, had dreamed possible.